Hey, what's up, Twitter? So, first of all, thanks for voting. You guys rock. Good job. Let's try to get this done, man. Holy shit. So, this is based off a question by Ankur. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right, not butchering it. But the question was essentially how to spot red flags in any deal, and essentially, do people do favors? I think it's easier. The favors part is shorter, so let's start there. So, favors, I haven't seen it. And if it's involving money, you know, there's always the anomaly. But generally speaking, I would say it's kind of like, am I going to find a bag of money walking down the street? I guess maybe you could, but I wouldn't use that as a strategy. You know, Speaking of myself, think of me. When I went to my ex and first told her I'm gonna write something, did she do me a favor? No, she told me, don't write, stay in your fucking lane. That's the quote. That's exactly what she said to me. You know, this is an agent that at that point I'm sleeping in the same bed with, telling me don't write it. And only after I got signed by CAA would she even consider representing me. And I went in there not as a favor, as far as they didn't sign me off a favor. I used a fake name, so they didn't know I was her husband at the time. They didn't know that. So no, I didn't get signed off of a favor, and I haven't seen it. That's what I would say to that. I've never seen anyone do a favor, because essentially you're asking someone, hey, will you risk your entire career for me? And most people are going to be like, no, like only if it's, the only way I'm going to risk anything is if there's value there, right? So that's why my ex was willing to rep me later. And by the way, talking about being embedded, how much more embedded can you possibly be when you're sitting on the couch with your agent, right, who is my spouse, and they're your spouse and your agent, and you're co-agenting yourself. There's stuff that we were talking about that there's no way in hell an agent would say that to their client. There's no way they would reveal that. So that's how deep I was at that point, knowing what's going on with my stuff. So, and then that leads to the red flag. First of all, I would say, great, what is a red flag? It's past tense, isn't it? Like, the red flag raises, what's the analogy? Like, hey, I feel like I feel like my girlfriend's cheating on me. That's past tense. So, answering the question, I don't think you're going to like the answer. Like I said, I think there's too many variables. There's so many ways red flags can be raised. In my opinion, I think it's about strategy, number one, and trying to knock down those red flags before they can even pop up, like whack-a-mole, bop, 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 bop. You know what I mean? Like, versus like, here's a list of all the red flags. I mean, the list would be like, 50 pages long. So I think it's about, starting in the beginning. What's that? Let's say your agent. Asking questions. In my opinion, the three main questions, first of all, to ask are, and maybe people can add to this or whatever, but question one, and this is about plan, like what is the plan, right? That's how you avoid the red flags in the first place, as many as you can. I think it's the best option, but do it your way. But I would ask, what is the strategy? What is the leverage that you're going to use? And what are the comps? And these are questions that an agent is not going to want to answer them. But what it does for you is it trains your agent how to treat you from day one. If they think they can get over on you, they might try to. And that's dangerous. This is a very dangerous part of that question is you could go out with the script. Let's say this is your first time you're signed. You sign with the 3-letter. They get, they package it, whatever. An actress, producer, director, all A-level. Guess what could happen? You go out with it, or the agent goes out with it. You're like, I don't care, do whatever, just try to sell it. Goes out with it. And then the studio comes back and says, hey, we only have this amount of money to spend. And then the partner tells that agent, take this deal, this bad deal. And the agent's thinking, I probably could get more for it. But the partner's telling me, the boss telling me, take this other deal so that we can service these A-listers. Everything servicing the top. And then the agent's like, great, I'll do that. Partner's happy, or big department head or whatever. And why? So that the agent can get a good bonus. That's what it's all about to them. ATA, WGA, do the math on that. In certain situations, they're happy to sell you out if it's going to mean a better bonus to them, and you're never going to know the difference. And then they call you and say, hey, guess what? Got you a great deal. It's going to be in the trades. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm famous. Yeah, you're famous for getting screwed. And you're like, what is the deal? And like, scale. Meanwhile, they had some other stuff, leverage and stuff they know they could have used to bump the price up. But by doing that, they're going to undercut these people over here in the same agency. So they sacrifice you to help them. So you want to be asking these questions up front so that your agent doesn't feel like you're an idiot that can be taken advantage of. Strategy, what is that? So, I see on Twitter, God, I gotta hurry up, but there's so much to unpack here. It's hard. So I see on Twitter, everybody's like, so I want to be signed up, blah, 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 and query, and like the second they finish the script, they want to shotgun it out. And so I know that there's people out there that if you gave them the key, writers, if you gave them the key to Hollywood, and they had the same access that agents do, where they can reach out to anyone, they would shotgun their stuff out there, blast the town with it, 500 people in one day. That's not a plan. That's not just strategic. That's not a plan. Strategy. What's some stuff? Like when I was co-repping myself, our strategy was going out slow. Patience, relax. Going out to, inner circle first, get that signed off. All right, great. Now we're going out to producers. Let's go out to 3. Dip our toe in, see how that goes. If people are bumping on that, pull it back. And, if everybody has the same note, great. Work on that. Send it back out. Same number, 3 people. See how that goes. Patience, see how that goes. It's not a race. See how that goes. It's landing better. Now only one person bumped on it. Okay, cool. Bring it back. Touch that up. Go back out with it. Go a little bit wider and keep that process going until hopefully something happens. And here's an actual story. So one time doing that strategy, right? One time doing that, we went out on a Friday, and Monday morning, 2 passes, and then third email was a producer saying, I want to attach. Big producer, A-list, first choice. So it was like, great, we're shutting it down. Why? Because, and calling people and telling them, hey, don't bother reading it, this producer attached. Why? Because, it's like Twitter announces hey, here's my log lines, here's everything. That's a bad strategy. There's producers out there A-list and so forth, tastemakers who don't want it all spread around like that. They want to hold it back. And some of this stuff is not announced, for that reason. They don't want people to know what they're working on. And they don't want you to talk about it. So strategy. Let's move on to leverage. This stuff's quicker. An example. The agent could say, hey, you to the studio, remember when we did this deal and we did that deal and both of those were hits? Remember that? I have this other thing here. It's in that wheelhouse. Let's kick the price up. It's going to be a hit. Or these other people over here have been asking for stuff like that. Or I could go over there if you don't want to pay. I mean, that's generally what an agent is doing. Good ones. Stuff like that. Comps. The agent should know what the comps are. Like, what did this sell for over here? What did that sell for? And comps you cannot figure out as a writer. Whatever you look on the internet, whatever, you're not going to find it. This is like up to the minute stuff. Intel that they're pulling. I don't even know how they do it, but they know everything. Like at 3 letters, they know everything. And yeah, your agent should know that. So plan. So how to avoid red flags. Know the plan. Be vocal to your rep about it, that you want to know the plan. Like, I want to see the list if we're going to, so I can check that off. They passed. Boom, check that off. Keep your own list, and do your own comps, that kind of stuff. Be engaged in your career, right? And so I guess that's kind of it, right? Plan, strategy, under the umbrella, plan, strategy, leverage, comps. Boom, you're going to avoid a lot of red flags that way, in my opinion. Later.